What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's always good to talk about some affordable options here on this channel. It's what this collection was built on and continues to grow from. Doesn't matter how my taste evolves, I can sure appreciate a good, cheap, and affordable fragrance. And in this video, we've got 10 that are just built to handle really well in the cooler weather. Now, this goes for what kind of a laughing stock Gulf Coast winter weather can be sometimes, even though literally it's dropping this morning, 20 degrees. It feels fantastic outside, as well as the very cold, snowy areas across other spots in the world. So we've got 10 that are super affordable and just built to handle the winter well. So stay tuned. Little boozy, leathery, oud, some violet leaf. Kind of has that Fahrenheit feel with some booze and oud is kind of how you can look at it. As Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum, around 40 bucks. Still, in my opinion, Mercedes' best fragrance they've ever put out. It's just phenomenal. It's not for everyone, but if you like that Fahrenheit style with a bit of a twist to it, this is one to check out. Comes in a beautiful presentation. The case it comes in looks like a travel watch roll that you put 3 little pillows between 3 watches and you could travel with it with watches. I kept it. One of the few boxes I keep. Great performer. Again, the oud here is not of the natural type. It is a synthetic, sweeter, slightly medicinal oud, not the dry, woody type. No pencil shaving type of thing. No real heavy funk, but you do get a nice, dense leather accord that's not too rough and animalic. It's more on the supple side, but it's got a thickness to it with, like I said, a little bit of booze. You get that violet leaf, slight petroleum feel. It's just an awesome fragrance. True bang for your buck here with Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. Now, 50 ml bottles like I have here are super affordable in the $40 to $50 range. I would highly encourage checking this one out because the last few flankers have been so good, people forget about Boss the Scent Absolute. And if you're more of the amber fragrance type, you'll enjoy this. That sweet, fruity Meninka smell, Meninka, however you pronounce it. The DNA, the core DNA note, very present with a warm amber and a nice woodsy vetiver that isn't really over the top earthy. Adds a little bit of a soft smoked touch to it, just a touch earthy, but nothing I would call a regal, dirty type of vetiver. Just a beautiful, warm, cozy, great fragrance to cut through the cold. Perfect in evening settings, but you can totally rock this one during the day. That's typically when I wear it with cooler weather. Just kind of a forgotten flanker because the line's so good. It's Boss the Scent Absolute. Now, really, you could go with pretty much anything here from this line. I would say Energy's probably definitely more of a citrus dominant fragrance. It's more for the cooler weather, but as far as the version of Eros I would recommend for the winter, that is Versace Eros Parfum. This one's much more on the amber accord. It's much warmer. You do get that amber wood and Broxen kind of smell going. Of course, you have the aromatics, the minty green tone, that fruity apple, the sweet vanilla. Eros DNA fully present, just rebalanced with more amber. Basically how you can look at it. It's a bit warmer. It wears a little bit heavier. It's not as bright of a fragrance as the EDT and the EDP. Hence, it just works a little bit better in the cooler weather. Again, the other ones work fine. Eros Flame works fine in the cold weather. I just think this one is the best of the bunch for the winter. And look, if you have the EDP, sure, you don't need this. It'll do just fine. It is a little bit brighter and fresher than this one, but if you want that more hefty based version, that's just, like I said, ideal for the cooler weather seasons, and it still performs great. Check out Versace Eros Parfum. Super affordable, monstrous performance. You sweet iris fragrance lovers, this is a good one. It's Joop Homme Le Parfum. Le Parfum. See how it says Le Parfum? Because people are like, oh, Joop Homme, bro, back in the 80s. I am not talking about that chemical garbage-ass mess of a fragrance that's in bottles today. Not original Joop Homme. This is an iris fragrance. A lot of people relate it to Stronger With You. Okay, a little bit. But I get 2 stages of sweet and powdery floral. It starts off a bit more of an earthy violet type of smell with a kind of soft and creamy sweetness. Then it dries into a more fluffy, powdery iris smell, the designer iris smell, with a thicker, more gourmandy praline kind of candy-like sweetness, a little woodsy, Pretty simplistic like that. Of course, you have some spice, hence why people tie it to Strong With You. I've never fully agreed with that relation, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. The sweet spice combo is kind of that with a whole lot of this floral powdery nature. 3-4 spray fragrance, everybody's going to smell you. It's a monster. It's around 35, 40 bucks. I forgot this. It's an oddball size. It's 4.2 ounce. I was thinking it was like 3.7 or something. So disregard that last part, but it's so good too. If you like sweeter iris fragrances, you got to like sweet fragrances here. It's a combination, two things that scare off those. I'm too manly to wear sweet. That's a girl fragrance. Those assholes, they ain't reaching for this kind of stuff because those are the guys that tell me sweet is too feminine and iris is definitely too feminine. And this is a combo of both. So you confident fellows that like a really good fragrance, this is it. Probably the most interesting fragrance in this video, honestly. Homme Le Parfum. Back to that Fahrenheit DNA, but reimagined, fruitier, more casual. I think you could still pull this off perfectly with a suit. It's literally created by a suit company. They're known for their suits anyways, this designer. We're talking about Brioni Eau de Parfum, the original. So there's been so many good flankers. The original seems to get forgotten. This is a straight up cheap fragrance that does not smell like a cheap fragrance. It smells like a slightly higher than mid-tier designer type quality. Again, it's fruity from some apple, but still has that Fahrenheit, violet leaf, petroleum, slight leathery type of feel. You do get a soft touch of florals, some woods. There's a little green in here. Of course, it has a nice muskiness to it, that manly musky tone. So you fellas that, you know, scoff at stuff like this is going to be more your speed, obviously. This kind of stuff is going to be more your speed. We got something for everybody here. You see what I'm saying? This is like, for 60 ml, like 38 bucks or something like that. Straight up cheap fragrance. I think 100 mLs are below 50 bucks. Check the link down below. This is a great fragrance. I would encourage you to start with this one before you explore the flankers, because this DNA is present in most of them. There's 5 available now. I do own all 5. You can literally right here see Eclat. That's where the stack is. All the other 4 are right there. Big fan of this line. Just be warned, once you try this one, you're going to end up wanting them all, because this one, really, really damn good with some above average performance. It's Brioni Eau de Parfum. You know, it's big time. What have you done for me lately in this space? And on to the next one, the new, you know, the new high, the buy the new fragrance, the new one in the line. People forget there's a reason this fragrance was hyped. It is super cheap. It is below $30 now. And I still think if you want a great twist on YSL Tuxedo for minuscule amount of money with pretty good quality, Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum is still the way to go. The 4.2 ounce bottle I think I saw for like $29, the link below. I want to say that's what it was, 28, 29 bucks. That is an absolute freaking steal for this fragrance. This is like a 6 to 8 hour fragrance, more so 8 or 9 hour fragrance realistically on my skin. Vanilla, pepper, amber, patchouli, everything that's really good about Tuxedo. Now, it's not quite the quality level of that YSL private blend fragrance, but honestly, I think it's better than a lot of the other affordable Middle Eastern clone versions of it. I still think Rochas version is the way to go. Rochas Moustache EDP still deserves hype. It's still that guy. We're going to give it a little spritz. Great atomizer. Solid bottle. Has that retro feel the way the glass is. It's just so good. If you're looking for Tuxedo on a budget, don't go after those Middle Eastern clones. You go after those for other fragrances. For Tuxedo, go after Moustache EDP. Let's get a little playful, very affordable. The John Varvatos and Nick Jonas line, I think the best one of the bunch still is the Crimson fragrance, or, you know, red or crimson. I believe it's technically crimson. But this one is cranberry, fruity, sweet, a little powdery, and rum boozy, warm that adds to the sweetness. It's a youthful boozy fragrance, believe it or not. It has that playfulness, but so interesting because the fruitiness is cranberry tart. Still one of their best fragrances that really, it had a moment in time where it was getting some love on YouTube, and as far as I know, it doesn't anymore. And it's still the one to go with. I mean, you have heavier stuff, the discontinued greatness that is Dark Rebel, and you could always go after the original, and there's some heavier fruity ones, John Varvatos Oud and so on. They got some other ones that work in the winter, don't get me wrong, but this is an unsung cheap hero, in my opinion. Average performance at best, temper your expectations, like a 5-6 hour fragrance. Let's call it the 4 to 6 hour window is typically the range you should expect from this one. Some people will say, oh, 2 hours and I can't smell it. Could be olfactive fatigue, could be legitimately only 2 hours, I don't know. But for me, kind of in that 4 to 6 hour range, and it smells amazing. Kind of gives me boozy Polo Red type of vibes because of the way the fruitiness is and the soft touch of powder. And honestly, better than something like Polo Red EDT. I would take this over. I wouldn't take it over some of the flankers, but over Polo Red EDT, yeah, for sure. It's really good for the winter. John Varvatos and Nick Jonas Crimson. Hugo Boss. Okay, they've been killing it. They have absolutely been killing it. The Boss Bottled line, the last 4 flankers have been some of their best work, which is why it's so easy to forget that this was a great Eau de Parfum flanker. It still smells like Boss Bottled. None of the 4 new ones do. The Parfum, the Elixir, Triumph Elixir, and then now Absolute, they don't smell like Boss Bottled. This, they changed some notes but kept the same accords with Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum. It's a bluer take, because it's got this sage heavy smell to it with cardamom instead of cinnamon. You still have some fruitiness, still a sharp woody tone, but a little bit bluer and a different type of spice. That cardamom mixing with that sage kind of gives it that fresh blue pop, if you will. This is really good. This is still really good. It just so forgotten about now because they just come out with hit after hit after hit. But none of them tie into the original like the Eau de Parfum does. Very few of them in the last several years have. And I think that's what makes this one still impressive, but just so underappreciated. Another one, 6 to 8 hour range and longevity, above average performance, not a monster, but a damn good everyday wear, especially if you were a fan. Let's say you're more my age. I'll be 40 next month. I grew up with Boss number 6 before it was called Boss Bottled. This is true to it. This is an evolved, more modernized take on it. This is actually a well-named flanker. Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum. In my opinion, still the best affordable vanilla money can buy for around 50 bucks. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. We got 2 Mercedes fragrances in this list. I could have did another one. I thought about doing Mercedes-Benz Man Private because that deserves to be here as well. So quick honorable mention. If you want spicy, woody, ambery, very warm and heavily masculine, in the Mercedes-Benz Man line, the brown bottle, Private. That could have went here. I held back on having 3 out of the 10 fragrances be from Mercedes. Got some good stuff. Don't sleep on Mercedes. But Club Black is all about vanilla and incense and amber. It's warm, smoky vanilla. You got a little bit of ambroxan that gives it this freshness, kind of brightens the fragrance up. It's a great date night fragrance, but it's just great in general for the cooler weather. Daytime, nighttime, it doesn't matter. It's better in the evenings, but it's never a bad time to wear a great vanilla fragrance because hashtag vanilla is life, right? This is some good stuff still to this day until they pull it off the market until further notice. Probably the best vanilla you can get for 50 bucks from in. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Last but not least, this is timeless for winter, in my opinion. $20 to $30 for a 100 ml to 200 ml bottle. It's a rack store darling to this day. It still pops up all the time, especially places like Ross Dress for Less. Probably the best entry-level tobacco accord fragrance. You get this orange tangerine type of citrusy opening with this warm ambery, overall citrus fruity, sweet tobacco. CK1 Shock from Calvin Klein. It's still great. Nothing's changed. Temper your expectation. 5-6 hour fragrance at best, you know. In the past, I've gotten 7 or 8 hours, but seems like it's tapered off a little bit. Maybe it's my nose, maybe it's the fragrance, maybe it's my skin, maybe it's a combination of all 3. But for 20 bucks, no wonder it's an all-time great. I'm starting to see a little bit of resurgence of some love from this one lately, and that's what reminded me, like, yeah, this deserves some more love. I used to talk about this one often in the beginning stages of this channel because I got, like, you know, down here on this bottle. This is my second bottle. Down here, up right around where it says Shock. How long is it going to take me to finish this bottle? God knows, years and years and years. But 20 bucks, great stocking stuffer for the holidays for a young man, for a teenager in your life. This is not that kind of tobacco fragrance where it's some kind of challenge or anything like that or make them smell like a smoker. It ain't that. This is super easy to enjoy. This is some really good stuff. This is cheapy gold for the winter. It's Calvin Klein CK1 Shock. Well, that's the 10. We could have did more, but I wanted to keep it at 10. Hell, like I said, I had to hold back from putting more Mercedes fragrances in here because there's at least one more Mercedes-Benz Man Private that could have went here. So some variety here. We got some sweet stuff, some floral stuff, some more masculine, spicy Fahrenheit style stuff. We've got a great tuxedo hype beast that doesn't get the kind of love it used to. Like, we got some variety here. Hopefully there's something for everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's links down below through YouTube Shopping Affiliate, as well as some fragrance buy links down in the description as well, if you want to check any of these out. Of course, you don't have to make a purchase to watch any of these videos. I just appreciate you making it all the way through. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave. Happy holidays. We'll catch you on the next one.